First thing I did was cut the side legs, and I cut it from piece 2 3/4 by 1 3/4 by 14, and you need 2 of them. Then I cut the front legs, which are pretty much the same shape except for the front, which is just a thin 3/4 inch board. The next thing I did was build the side panels, and to do that you have to get a board like this, which is a kind of short one. Cut a 45-degree angle at it, and then make a trench through it so that the side panel board can fit in it. And you need 2 of them for each. After that, you attach the big back leg, the kind of thicker one. You attach it to the flat end, to the not 45-degree end. And then you attach the front end to the 45-degree end, and you do this for both of them. But remember that for the right side and the left side, they have to be mirror images of each other. So as this one is on the left over here, but that it's over on the right. You got to keep that in mind. Next, you build the back leg, which is pretty simple actually. You just take 2 boards, almost the same size, and you just butt them together so it makes a L shape. And it should be about the same size as the front leg, side legs. After you have the front leg and the two side panels, you have to make the big long panel right here. And to do that, you have to take boards like these, they should be identical, and cut a route through them so that the side panel can fit in it. And once you have that, you glue it together and it should be something like this. Next, you have to attach the side panels, the big side panels and the back leg. You have to attach those, which sounds kind of simple, but it's actually not, because you can't really screw them together. You have to use a dowel and glue. It's pretty difficult, but you have to make sure that you put the side panel on the right side, because if you don't, it'll look all weird. I messed up and I had to spend a couple days fixing it, so just make sure it's on the right side. And to attach to dowel them together, you kind of have to, like, what I did was I marked down, like, I don't know, 1/4 inch on both pieces, and then I drew lines so I can have them lined up on both sides. Then I did the same on the top, and then when I did that, I drilled into it on both of them, and then I put the dowel in, and then they pretty much were lined up straight. I did that for the top, bottom, and all of them. After you have the side panel, the big side panel, and the legs all attached, you should have a kind of triangle shape, pretty much like this, but without the panels right there. And then after that, you have to take the boards like this, and this is like the frame or something. I don't know, the piece is called like the back frame or something. But you take this, you have to cut a little, I don't know if you can see that, but there's a little route right here just for the door. You have to cut that in there, and then once you have it on both the top and the bottom of them, you screw them into the front legs here. Try to make it flush right here, on the top right here, and then I think it's 1/4 of an inch or 1/2 an inch above the floor here. Just make sure it's even with the side panels over here. Once you have that, you can screw them in or dowel them in, whichever you prefer. The next thing I did was I flipped the project over and I built the cross beams here, so for the bottom panel. What I did was I took the long piece right here, and you can kind of see it, but I had to cut a little 45-degree on both sides of it so it would fit in the corner there. I did that, and I screwed it right here and over there too, and then I built a big piece across most of the thing right here. And since it wasn't long enough, I got some of these pieces right here, cut 45 degrees right there and right there so they fit in, and then I screwed those nice together. And then, well, I had to use these to connect them, but then it's pretty sturdy. I mean, the bottom panel isn't going to fall out anytime soon. The next thing I did after that was I flipped it over like this and put it on top of the plywood, and I traced the inside of this so it would fit snug. Then I cut it out and I just plopped it in there. Then I flipped it over and I just screwed it down on the cross beams. The next thing I did was I got the panel supports and I screwed them in exactly 4 and 4.75 inches above, so 4 3/4. inches above the bottom panel. But if it wasn't completely level, you might have to go up just a little bit just to level it out. After that, I did the same process I did with the bottom panel. I flipped it upside down and I traced it on a piece of plywood. And then I plopped it in and screwed them in onto the side supports. After that, I flipped it over and I traced it over the top. So instead of doing the inside like I did on the other ones, I did the outside. And I traced it exactly, but when I cut it a little bit big, just because I want this to be perfectly flush with the sides, and you can always just sand it off. It's hard to add wood than to take it away. After that, after you have the panel to size, you screw it, or you pre-drill, just to make sure you don't split anything. And then after that, I got a really big drill bit, just so I could screw it in a little bit farther, so I could cover it up, because Mr. Nelson said I have to. After that, I got some wood fill, just to fill in the spots where the screws were, just so it looks good when I stain it. When I sanded, I did a round of 80 grit just to get rid of the roughness, then a 220 grit just to make it nice and smooth. This is what happens if you try sanding over a spot that has a screw poking out. Yeah, it's not good. The last step is to put some stain on it. I chose the light brown one, and I think it looks really good. Yep, and if you want, you can put poly on it, waterproof, sealant, anything. But I don't plan on getting this thing wet ever, so I'm not going to put any of that on. And also put the handles on. I made them nice and even. Then the hinge is right here.